I'm a bad motherfucker.
All right, so it wouldn't be a show without Boeing almost killing somebody. This time, actually, it might have warmed up to Boeing a little bit if it had worked out, because the theoretical victim would have been Antony Blinken. Blinken, U.S. delegation drive from Paris to Brussels, maybe ran into Jimmy over there, after his plane again suffers a mechanical issue. You can't make it up. So you always get the impression they must have like the best, absolutely foolproof planes for the government, but not if you get them from Boeing. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and an American delegation were forced to drive from Paris to Brussels to attend a NATO meeting Wednesday after his plane was again grounded due to a mechanical issue, the State Department said. The incident involving the aircraft identified by Bloomberg as a modified Boeing 737 happened after Blinken's travel plans were upended in January when the plane he was using to visit Davos, Switzerland for the World Economic Forum's annual meeting encountered what the State Department described as a mechanical issue as well. So this is the second time that the Secretary of State cannot take off because his plane was made by Boeing. Huh. Due to a mechanical issue with the aircraft, Secretary Blinken and the American delegation drove from Paris to Brussels to attend the NATO foreign ministers meeting, a State Department spokesperson said Wednesday, following the latest incident. The trip between the French and Belgian capitals is about a 4-hour, 200-mile journey. Blinken had met with French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris on Tuesday. In January, the State Department said the U.S. Air Force sent a replacement plane to Switzerland to bring Blinken home from the meetings in Davos. After that event, the aircraft he was traveling in was unable to take off due to a mechanical issue. We covered the other day the poop plane. There was a plane that had to turn back to Hamburg because it flooded with feces from the toilet. A Boeing, of course. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said at the time. So this is David Sirota. Really wild that the Secretary of State is a former Boeing consultant who keeps being unable to fly the Boeing planes that his State Department simultaneously pitches to other governments. That's what Mr. John Lennon might have called instant karma there. Karma. Anything, Keaton?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a shame that, you know, well, actually, I shouldn't say it's a shame. I mean, it's good that he was caught on a plane and had to turn around. I was going to say, shame it didn't go down, but we won't say that.
that is over the line, Keith.
That is over the line.
That is over
that
the
would be
line.
over the line. Yeah, indeed. So yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe that'll catch the focus of Mayor Pete there. You know, hey, you almost took down one of your. almost looked at one of your cabinet members there.
I mean that if that is not late capitalism imperial collapse, I don't know what is. I mean that's crazy. That's like the Visigoths are coming, but none of the chariots are working. You know, I mean,
right?
It's just every part of the empire has become so corrupt that it can't even build conveyances for the government that are trustworthy.
Well, this is what I said. I mean, I think I said this on our show a while ago. It's like Boeing, you know, by financializing their business model, because this marked a shift. I mean, they used to be about making the best machines, figuring that if we make the best machines, we'll sell the most airplanes and we will be at the top of the market. And that was true for a while. Now, that probably would have remained true even if they didn't shift models no matter what. But in Boeing's case, you have a guaranteed cash flow by the United States government. Like your military industrial complex, you got it coming in every year anyway. So, like, there's no reason to do what they did.
Well, and you've got the next best thing to a monopoly, a duopoly.
Right.
It's basically you and Airbus with,
Well,
with a few minor
exactly,
players in the space.
Right.
And the
Right.
bar to entry is so high that there's not even going to be a third as long as you keep making. Now there will be. But if you,
now there will be.
Now there will be, because
Sure.
there has to be to fill the void that's going to be left with Boeing. Because of, I keep saying it, man. I hope I'm wrong. Eventually, one of these is going to go down, and that's going to be it. They're going to have to ground them all. They're going to have to ground all the Boeings and go back through and see what they fucked up.
Well, right. And like I said, absent a catastrophic failure, they have guaranteed money coming in. That's why Boeing, you ever notice if you watch like the Sunday morning talk shows, Face the Nation, Meet the Press, you'll quite often see a Boeing ad on there. That Boeing ad on there is not because the average American's in the market for a 737 and are picking and choosing which brand to buy it from. That's an open air bribe to the networks to cover wars favorably, so that the government keeps buying Boeing planes. Like that's what it is. And that is locked in. That's locked in. That wasn't going anywhere. Now it might. I mean, if they can't trust the Secretary of State on an airplane, it might.
I mean, the commercials on the Sunday morning roundtables it's like a lineup of comic book villains. It's like the Legion of Doom. You just have all of the most evil corporations on the planet, one after the other. Archer Daniels Midland, Northrop Grumman, Boeing. Like, the bribery is so transparent that they're putting it on there to both bribe these news stations, but also to really pacify the minds of the NPCs who watch that and absorb it as meaningful information.
Sure. Yeah.
On that, to you, Misha.
Okay. Differences. Thank you, SS, and back to us.
Absolutely right. Okay, so we're doing a very fiery, class-oriented show here. So if we did not... Oh, God
damn it. You're not looking at me, right? You're looking at the camera.
Yes.
You're not looking directly at me now, are you?
No.
Because I was about to
I'm
start
looking
going
at the
like
camera.
this with my
It's like,
arms.
that is honestly all right. I'll give you a little behind-the-scenes movie magic. Okay, so what happens in the Jimmy Dore studio is it looks like I'm looking at Keaton when he's on, but I'm looking at a camera. There's no Keaton up there. Like, I'm looking at the camera. So that is one of the hardest things to adjust to if you're used to doing like a StreamYard Zoom call kind of thing.
Right.
But yes, starting again for the editor, I'm Russell Dobular, filling in for Jimmy Dore while he's in Europe with my co-host Keaton Weiss. All right, so we want to do a very class-oriented show today because I think we need to raise the class consciousness. So if anybody was not convinced by my Pizza Hut segment that we need to eat less Pizza Hut and more of the rich, let's take a look at this. Welcome to the age of ultra nepo babies. Every billionaire under the age of 30 inherited their fortune. New report finds. The average age of a billionaire may be 66, but a lucky few reach the milestone before they even hit 30. However, these individuals won't be able to claim any credit for their fortunes. Every billionaire on Earth under the age of 30 inherited their wealth. Tell me more about how the fast food workers are getting paid too much. Please, tell me more. That's according to Forbes' billionaires list for 2024, which features 15 individuals with 12-figure wealth aged 30 or under, who have a combined fortune worth nearly $45 billion. Tell me more about immigrants picking apart chickens at the Tyson plant. Please tell me more about how that's ruining your life. The eye-watering sum and the fact that these riches are handed down is an indicator at the top of the ladder of the incoming great wealth transfer. According to property broker Knight Frank's 2024 wealth report, some $90 trillion in assets will move down the generations over the next few decades, making affluent millennials the richest generation in history. What I say to that is not if we have anything to say about it. while millennials are expected to be 5 times richer in 2030 than they were approaching the beginning of the decade, those at the top of the wealth tree are likely to see their fortunes catapult even further. Of the 15 individuals on the 30 or younger list, 8 are either newly minted billionaires or have seen their wealth grow in the past 12 months. The youngest person on the rich list is 19-year-old university student Livia Voigt. Well, you know, I mean, that's capitalism, right? I mean, that's capitalism. She earned that money, right? She pulled herself up by her Gucci bootstraps. The Brazilian heiress is one of the largest individual shareholders of electrical engineering giant WEG, which was co-founded by her grandfather, who died in 2016. Voigt and her older sister, 26-year-old Dore Voigt de Assis, all right, she's got a rough name to live with, I'll give her that, each have a fortune worth $1.1 billion. Ultra-wealthy siblings appear elsewhere on the list. Isn't that nice? Courtesy of Irish brothers Zahan and Firas Mystery. They took their name from a Harry Potter novel, apparently. The brothers, aged 25 and 27, respectively, sit on $4.9 billion each, courtesy of their family's 18.4% stake in Tata Sons. The duo, who live in India, inherited their wealth from their late father, Cyrus Mystery, who died in 2022 after a car crash near Mumbai. 3 of the 6 Del Vecchio children also appear on the list. 19-year-old Clemente, 22-year-old Luca, and 28-year-old Leonardo, also known as the Ninja Turtles. Each has a fortune of $4.7 billion, courtesy of their 12.5% stake in Luxembourg-based holding company Delphin, run by their late father, the senior Leonardo Del Vecchio. Norway's Katarina Andresen, 28, and her younger sister Alexandra, 27, have slightly differing fortunes, with the former worth $1.7 billion and the latter $1.6 billion. The sisters each inherited 42% of FIRD, an investment company controlled by the siblings' father, Johan H. Andresen. Both sisters sit on the board of directors at FIRD. They are the 6th generation of their family to become company owners. Now, this is, you know what? I stick around for the super chats. I'm going to try to look this up. There is a YouTube channel. I think it's called Old Money or something, that specializes in informing viewers about this. And one of the most interesting insights I've gotten from that channel is the people that are very visible who are rich, like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or Kennedy's or people like that. They're not the real money. They're front people for the real money. The real money. You got these European families that have had this money for hundreds of years. That's the real family. And you don't hear about these people, except in an article like this. Continuing a trend of young European billionaires is Germany's Kevin David Lehman, who owns 50% of his nation's biggest drugstore, DM, and French 22-year-old Remy Dassault, who is heir to an aerospace and software empire after his name. And the trend is only set to continue. UBS's Billionaire's Ambition report, published in November 2023, found that more than 1,000 billionaires are expected to hand down approximately $5.2 trillion to their children over the next 20 years. It's a behavior that will shape the economy, said Benjamin Cavalli, head of strategic clients at UBS Global Wealth Management. Quote, "The next generation has fresh views about business, investing, and philanthropy, redirecting large pools of private wealth to new business opportunities arising from the time we live in." I could spend the show on that paragraph. Engineering.
Well, yeah, because what they mean by that is wasting it all. on stupid ideas that are never going to do anything. Like this is why, like, when we talk about, wages for workers, cutting into profits, you're almost talking about a completely different calculation. You're thinking of business and economics and money itself in a way that, as you said earlier, the real big money people don't even view it that way.
Right.
They don't even view it that way. They don't have to. And so, yeah, there is going to be this redirection. It's going to go up in smoke because these people are under no pressure to actually produce anything.
Right.
They can just play with it,
right,
like a child plays with a toy.
Right.
And that's what they're going to do.
Right.
And that's why everything sucks, because there's just too little money going around for everybody else. It's not that complicated.
Right. Why do you think all of the coverage, almost all of this wage increase, has been focused on workers getting fired, which seemed to be a very small minority of the total number of workers, by the way? Why don't you see any stories about the surely tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of workers who are jumping for joy? Why don't you see that? Why don't you see a story? Yes, this worker wasn't able to afford this for a child. I'm sure there are tens of thousands of stories like that.
This worker was 4 months behind on their car payments. They were about to get it taken back, and now they can get back on track. Yeah, of course.
Now,
of course.
there
are millions of those examples.
Now, I would submit it's because of these fucking people. It's because of these people and the control they have over your media. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out like why these big media companies owned by enormous corporations are telling you a story that makes you angry at workers who ask for more money. Nothing could be more transparent why they would do that. Engineering a small succession will require founders and their families to do things differently, more than ever discovering common values and purpose to navigate a way forward that appeases all generations and allows them to continue building their legacies. And this was a funny little thing Malcolm threw in there with Joffrey from Game of Thrones. So, yeah, that is a system in order to keep these people who do not, by anyone's standards of how economics should work, I don't think there's anyone who believes these people deserve that money, right? We're all agreed on that, right? They do not deserve that money. It is going to continue in this way. You are going to, you can have a big democracy cakewalk through the middle of town, as Dennis Leary once said. In the end, you're living in an aristocracy as long as you have unearned wealth of those levels in the hands of these idiot heirs. You want to get an idea of how stupid these people are? Go watch some candid videos from Paris Hilton from back in the day. You want to watch these people hanging out? I'm not talking about the dirty stuff. I'm talking about the other stuff. There was a lot of videos leaked of like how they all talk to each other when they're hanging out. The dumbest. You could only be this dumb if you didn't have to do anything to survive. You cannot imagine how stupid some of these people who inherit this money are. As long as you have a system set up to allow people like this to inherit that kind of wealth for no reason, they're always going to set workers against each other and have you fighting each other for crumbs. That's what they want. Keaton?
Yeah, and you mentioned Paris Hilton. She's actually probably, not probably, almost certainly I could say, one of the more talented ones, one of the more charismatic ones, because they're the ones who go on TV, right? Like it takes a certain like baseline charisma to actually be a public figure at all. Like most people lack even that. And so she is the cream of the crop. So you could go from there to get a sense of, what the rest of them are like.
Yeah, it's not just her because she's hanging out with her friends in those videos. They're just they're just absolutely moronic. Like you just can't imagine how fucking stupid these people are. All right, Misha, to you.
All right.
choosing the ones. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace, soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate shitty coffee? I, for one, really hate shitty coffee, which is why I'm excited to introduce to you a company that's revolting against shitty coffee, and it's called the 1775 Coffee Company. Now, I haven't had it yet because I only drink decaf. Steph has had it. Steph, how do you like it?
I really like it. I've been, you know what? I have a French press, and so I've been using my French press and totally enjoying it. It's delicious. It's smooth. It's smooth.
So 1775, the world awakened. In 1775, the world awakened to a new era. And now it's 1775 Coffee Company is bringing you a coffee that embodies that revolutionary spirit. Crafted with passion and precision, our beans are ethically and exclusively sourced from the finest coffee beans farms of Bolivia. Didn't know that. 1775 Coffee Company's farm-to-cup journey ensures the highest quality of authenticity and sustainability from start to finish. With each sip, your palate will recognize and appreciate the dedication and passion that goes into crafting this single-sourced brew. 1775 Coffee Company takes pride in offering customers a truly exceptional coffee experience with their premium coffee collection. But their dedication to this revolution extends beyond the realm of taste. Safeguarding freedom of speech is critical right now, which is why 1775 Coffee Company has joined forces with Rumble in defense of one of our most fundamental rights, freedom of speech. Coffee that's sure to awaken all your senses, including the sense of freedom. So choose 1775 Coffee by going to 1775coffee.com/litter. That's LITTER, and use the code LITTER for 10% off the checkout on your first order. 1775 Coffee, brewed to perfection, crafted with revolution.